in Thailand, a lot of the contracts is actually mandatory by the government that is standardized.
So in the previous topics, we cover many information about the first-time buyer in Thailand and what risk involved, how we can mitigate them, right? And there's also one particular question that's mostly asked, is it mandatory to have a particular lawyer when purchasing a property in Thailand? And that questions will fly all the scenarios to either we're buying an old one or pre-sale projects or a ready-to-move-in first-hand properties. So they're actually raising questions like, okay, should we have a lawyer? Or is it like too cost consumption? Or is it safe without a lawyer to do the process? What's your view on this?
Well, very good question on that, right? I would think that for foreigners, buyers who are like first-time buyers,
Yep.
If they want to spend the money to go and look for a lawyer to buy an off plan to make sure the contract is correct and all that kind of stuff, yeah, please do, right?
Yep.
But the only thing is like in Thailand, a lot of the contracts is actually mandatory by the government that is standardized. Okay. There's a standardized contract in terms of the sales and purchase agreement, how the booking fee happens or the registration fee happens when you're buying the property. All these kind of documentations is a little bit on the mandatory side. It has to follow a certain kind of steps with it, right?
Okay.
How the actual sales and purchase agreement of each developer changes, it has to be I would say by the rule book of the government as well.
Okay.
There's certain clauses that has to follow what the rule book says. There are certain clauses that can be tweaked or like changed
a little bit in terms like terminologies and something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So basically with this, if let's say a first time buyer feels like they need to understand a little bit more, please do get a lawyer for it, right? But normally don't have to, because I would say you're spending close to about 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 baht just for a lawyer to come in to help you to read the contract and says yes and no to you.
Okay.
And then for before you sign that contract and pay up, right?
Right.
But I would say that where the lawyer good is to come in is when you're buying anything that is like a second-hand property.
I see.
Like a resale property. Yeah. Reason why is between an actual seller and an actual buyer, right? Because we don't know who the seller is, right? The seller might say that, okay, this is the price. This is how the contract maybe be 2 pages. But when you read a 2 pages contract for buying, you feel unsafe. So what happens if, let's say I bought the property already, everything breaks down in the whole thing. What do I get out of it, right? So it's good to actually get a lawyer involved. Yeah. Make sure the seller side is also okay with it, right? Sometimes the seller side will have their own lawyers as well. So let lawyers talk to each other. Okay. Yeah. So I think that is one of the best ways to actually look at how lawyers will come into play for this kind of picture. Okay. Is when you're actually dealing with a direct seller.
Individual
seller. Yeah. But if you're dealing with a developer, developer contracts are pretty much standardized. Yeah. Okay. So having a lawyer just will read through it. Some lawyers will just read through it and it says yes. Some lawyers will scrutinize it a little bit. Where it actually drags out in terms of the buying process, which a lot of developers doesn't want that to happen.
I see.
Yeah. Okay. So that is one of the ways that actually, if you're gonna do this, do it with the secondhand buying or resale property that you're buying.
Thanks, JC. That's very spot on. So, if you're buying a first-hand properties, no need. Yeah. Many of our lawyers' friends will not be happy about this, but all the contracts, in contrary, all the contracts are standardized in Thailand, all the sales and purchase agreements. So basically, even if we bring in a lawyer when signing up a contract with developers, there's not much of room for them to play to, right? You can't change all the clauses in there. You can't do much about it because it's standardized, done by the legal authorities of Thailand. So even if you have a lawyer, he or she will just be there to review it for you, and then it's your decision whether you sign the contract or not. There's nothing much they can do.
Exactly.
Right? But if we're buying a second-hand properties, which we're buying from an individual owner, individual seller, and then we're buying it, then it's always good to have a lawyer to check the seller's background or any due diligences or any terms and conditions that we as buyer or him as a seller wants to cover in the contracts, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's
Spot
correct.
on. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.